So let's get into this. We played a little bit of the sound in headlines, but we've kind of been covering this ever evolving game of chicken between the New Orleans Saints and Mayor Cantrell over there in New Orleans. The latest of which is that Greg Binzel came out and said, look, we want to go play games in front of fans, and we are definitely open to going to Tiger Stadium. And I was still like, but is like Peyton down for that? I mean, I don't know. And then of course we played the sound yesterday of Peyton saying, hey, look, if it's an empty dome or 25K in Tiger Stadium, all of us would take the latter. So I'm like, okay, that's a pretty strong statement. Let's see how the mayor responds. Well, this is how the mayor responded when she was asked about is she comfortable with the Saints going to Baton Rouge to play their games at Tiger Stadium.
Oh, no, I don't have any concerns with that at all. I think that, and I expressed this to the Saints administration and also to my sister mayor, Sharon Broome in Baton Rouge. I think that that could be a great place temporarily. It is an outdoor stadium. They are allowing fans in the stadium, but right now there is no way, given the current conditions, to allow 20,000 fans in the Super Dome, an indoor stadium, when no one else is doing it in the United States of America, because it's the right thing to do at this time.
I love that so much, dude. It's like me and Musa were talking about it before the show starts, but I can't help but feel like a little kid watching my parents kind of passive aggressively jab at each other without really wanting to yell, right? I mean, they don't want to scare the kids. They're trying to kind of keep it chill. So they're doing that thing where you grin and you kind of talk through gritted teeth. Like, yeah, you know what? Why don't you go over there? I think that's a great idea. You know what? You do that. I would love to see you go over there and play those games in Tiger Stadium. And then the Saints, without adding Mayor Cantrell, again, keeping the passive-aggressive streak intact here, without adding her on Twitter, this is what they tweeted in response to a couple of clips yesterday. That was her touching on there, where she talked about, look, we're not alone in this. We are not the only ones not letting people in closed stadiums. Nobody is right now. Well, here's a tweet from the Saints. Setting the record straight, since week 1, there have been 33 NFL games played with fans. Of those games, 10 were played with fans in domed or enclosed stadiums. And then it goes on to list those games. Dallas, anybody, don't even get into that. Furthermore, the Saints and Cardinals have played with a limited capacity under the roof. In no instances has there been any reporting of COVID clusters or outbreaks in these situations, or any situations in stadiums with fans present. So, New Orleans Saints, that is the official New Orleans Saints Twitter with that shot across the bow, basically calling out Mayor Cantrell, saying that is just not accurate. The no fans are in the stand. So I don't want to get too much into the weeds here in like who's right with Mayor Cantrell or whatever. Like the afternoon guy's been yelling about that. He does a good job with that. I'm just saying that why this fascinates me is because this feels like this game of chicken is actually not going to end, right? I think this ends with both cars just driving straight into each other. I kept thinking that eventually someone would divert, and maybe you still will, right? It's Friday. It's easy to be very reactive right now, but you still got a lot of time to kind of figure this out. And I think ideally everybody would want to play in the Superdome. But after hearing Mayor Cantrell say that, basically say, go ahead, call the bluff there, that certainly feels like you are going to see your New Orleans Saints in Tiger Stadium in a big game, too. I mean, when you look at this division right now, somebody look up who the Panthers play next. Because the Panthers sit here at 3-2 today. So they can either be 4-2 or 3-3 by next week. If they're 4-2, then they will have the division lead over you. You're at 3-2. It's your first time squaring up with that Carolina team this year. You would have Teddy Bridgewater coming to Tiger Stadium. Yes, Musa, who is
Bears.
It? The Bears, that's right. Yes, we knew that. That's a fascinating game in terms of, like, I do not really know who to choose there. I wonder if that'll come up in the Degeneration Dome. But yeah, you could have a chance. So in 2 weeks at Teddy Bridgewater coming to Tiger Stadium. And then as somebody pointed out in the YouTube chat yesterday, I wish I could remember who it was so I could give them credit. But, I mean, that means Joe Brady returning to Tiger Stadium. The man whose absence is only felt, what am I trying? I'm trying to say that Dave Aranda's absence is the only one felt greater than Joe Brady right now. People still pining for their young stud offensive mind. Now he's in Carolina. He's had them win 3 games in a row without Christian McCaffrey. And now he's going to come back to Tiger Stadium, the place that built him. And he's not only going to try to ruin his old team's time. Remember, he started with Sean Payton and the Saints. And you got to know Peyton's got a little extra juice in this game because just look at Peyton's draft day behavior going after Tommy Stevens just to be extra petty with the Carolina Panthers and with Joe Brady. So not only though is Joe Brady going to be going against his former team and the coach and the franchise that made him and set him on the path to LSU, but now he's going to be returning to the stadium where he was so beloved, where he brought a 15-0 national championship, was a key part of it. And he's going to be fighting against those very fans that loved him so much. So that's, the narrative dynamics at play are fascinating. What do y'all think? Do y'all think this ends? Does this actually happen? Do we end up with the Saints playing in Death Valley?
I don't know. I mean, I would think.
If you had to call it today. Someone say, if I had to call it today, even though I've been on the opposite side of this the entire time, I would say they're actually going to get one game. I think they're going to get one game in.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think they have to now because you can't come out as strongly as they have, especially with that tweet, and then tuck your tail and just go back to the Superdome next Sunday.
Yeah. Well, but so that's the thing. Yes. Okay. So that's a good point. It seems clear to me they will not play in front of no fans in the dome. The side that would have to give, I believe, would have to be Mayor Cantrell's side.
And I don't think she will either because she's been so stubborn and headstrong throughout this entire thing that it would just be an incredible look of weakness on her part as well to back down.
Yeah, so, I mean,
both sides are too entrenched.
It's about like puffing their chest up so much.
They are too entrenched.
And at this point, they can't back down because we're all watching.
Right.
They're like, come at me, bro. We're all watching. We're like, okay, I want to see y'all fight. We can't back down now. So, yeah, man, it's the Katrina stuff looks odd watching the black and gold run out of those tunnels. It all feels very odd. But hell, who am I kidding, dude? I would love to go try to sneak into or find a way into that stadium and watch the Saints play the Panthers live. I had mindset on it. Probably wasn't going to get to see any live football this year. So we'll see. We'll know in a week. We will continue to follow this story as it develops, but just fascinating and something that I never would have guessed because I thought the coaches were just so obsessed with like routine and everything else. And it should be noted, the NFL is on the Saints side as well. As we talked about earlier this week, the NFL has said that, look, we will make our medical professionals available to New Orleans officials and explain how these stadiums have been getting it safely done and how there's been no clusters linked to the attendance of games. But as you said, Musso, both sides are so calcified in their stance right now, I don't know that there's going to be any movement. All right, coming up next, we got our guy Hunt Palmer coming on to break down LSU, probably touching a little bit of football, baseball, and basketball here on OTB 104.5 ESPN.